Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 22 as we go through and cover Flylady's 31 baby steps. Today's baby step that we're going to talk about is the Build Your Control Journal. Now, if you've been following along with these videos, you will remember back on day 4, or if you haven't been following along, if you want to go back and look at day 4, that was start your control journal. But today we're going to build on our control journal. And this was my original control journal that I set up in 2011. And there's a lot of stuff that's not in here anymore because I have I've gone through and taken out all the things that weren't irrelevant, anything that wasn't updated, because I haven't used this in a long time. And so my first section was just my daily routines, and I have my before bed routine here, and my morning routine here, and then my afternoon and after work routines in here. And then I had printed off from the Flylady website all the steps to shining your sink, all the routines. This was a copy of all the routines, morning routine, and the weekly plan. This was just an email that I had printed off. And then the next section was my weekly routines, and it was each day of the week, the specific task that I wanted to do for that day, a copy of my weekly home blessing, and this was a printed off sheet from the Flylady's website with the weekly home blessing and each day of the week, our weekly task, and also went into the zone cleaning, and it told which rooms are in each zone and which chores or which cleaning tasks we needed to do for each zone of the week. Then I had a section for important emergency contacts, which again I've taken the original one out because all the numbers and names that were in there are not relevant anymore. And I had a financial one, which I've taken everything out of there. Again, this was set up in 2011. This is 2019. So much of the information that was originally in this book is completely outdated. My projects, this was a list of books that I wanted to read, and just some different projects that I wanted to work on. And in the back was this home and care maintenance, and this is just a thing that I printed off of the Flylady's website, and it's basically like you're going through your home pretending to be a realtor, and you look at everything in your house. Like if you were selling the house to put it on the market, what would you need to repair, replace, or paint? What needed to be cleaned or decluttered to make your house look like it was ready to show for potential buyers? So that's kind of what that is. And so that was my original control journal, but I now have my control journal condensed into my happy planner, and I will show you how I have that set up. And it starts right here, and on the first page right before my actual control journal begins, I have the Flylady 11 commandments. We talked about those on day 18, so if you haven't watched day 18, go back to day 18 and watch that if you want to learn about the 11 commandments. So in my control journal that I use now, which is in my happy planner, my first section is routines. And so this is just like a little quick cheat sheet guide that I made for my daily routines. I have my home chores, which is all the house cleaning chores, and then my self-care routines. And I have a morning and an evening. So these are the things that I do in the morning for my home. These are the things I do in the morning for myself, and then the evening. Then I have a page made up for my self-care routine. I have morning and evening. And then I have my laundry routine and my paper routine listed on a sheet of paper. My personal development routine, because I'm just adding more routines. Originally, we started out with a morning routine, then we added an evening routine, then we added an afternoon routine. But each day, as I grow at different points in my life, there are different routines that I try to add in there, which this right here is my morning miracle, which I do that now every day. And so I put that in there as part of my personal development routine. And these daily goals, the relationship, mind, and business, that's part of another book that I read. And that's part of my core 4, which there's only 3 there, but the 4th one is considered in here. So all that combined covers my core 4. Then I have this sheet made that has my evening routine, which is the afternoon routine, but because I work until 6 p.m., I don't have an afternoon at home. So I have an after dinner routine and then my before bed routine. And that's just a list of all the morning routine tasks. And then on the back side of that, that was breaking down my cleaning, because at one time, I always, like I said, depending on where I live, my job schedule, and things I have going on, I do things, I adjust the Flylady. I've been doing Flylady since 2011. It's 2019, so there have been times I've tweaked it and, changed it. So I have a morning routine here, an evening routine, and this is where you just don't break it separately into house chores, self-care chores, and afternoon. And then this was my weekly cleaning task. My next section is my flight plan, and that is my weekly breakdown, like what I do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So each day of the week, the main thing that gets taken care of. So Monday is the weekly home blessing, and these are the house cleaning chores that I do on Monday. Tuesday is a free day, so the only thing I have to do is my 15 minutes of zone cleaning. That's usually when I schedule a lot of my school work and my course, working on my courses. And then Wednesday, Thursday, so it just kind of shows you everything each day of the week. So I just made a page for each day of the week. And then this was an older one that I had made at a different point, and there's all of them just kind of on one sheet of paper. And then I have a section for today, which is, it's pretty much right now it's just a running to-do list. Then my next section is my zones. And I have all of my zones broken down for like zone 1, zone 2, and all of the chores that I do that week for my zone cleaning. And then I have a second one here, which this was an older zone, kind of like a zone breakdown. This was when I lived in a house that had a front porch and an entrance. And since I don't have that now, I had to redo my zones because I live in an apartment now. But when we move back to Georgia, we're hoping that we'll have a porch, at least, even if we don't have a separate entrance. So I just kept this because, like I said, depending on where I live, depending on my schedule, this can be tweaked to fit any lifestyle, any family, any home. And then since this was the older one that I used, these were my zones, and then on the back I had my morning routine set up on this page. The next section is for my meals, which I don't do my meal planning in here, but I do like my pantry inventory, jot down notes of things that I want to remember, like how to cook, how to do my boiled eggs in the pressure cooker, my freezer inventory, fridge inventory, and then the last section is for information. And this is kind of like an emergency plan, because since I live in South Florida, right now it's hurricane season. So, and when I live in North Georgia, we have like 2 tornado seasons a year. So it's always a good thing to have an emergency plan. And then I have a sheet that I'm making up for all of my accounts, like my login accounts. Of course, there's nothing on there right now. This was my bucket list page, some information on my blog, some stuff I'm working on for NaNoWriMo for 2019. And then I have like this running list of blog post ideas. So that is my control journal. And like, it's currently set up in my Happy Planner, but when I wasn't using Happy Planner, I had it in this binder, and I printed off paper, but I also mostly used just filler notebook paper. So you can do it either way, however you're doing your control journal, whatever works best for you. I liked this, but I like the idea of just having one book and having everything in it, which I know part of the control journal, when Flylady has you set it up, is putting a calendar in it. But since I was using my Happy Planner every day, I'm in it every single morning, every single evening, I just thought it made more sense to add my control journal to my Happy Planner. So that is it for today, and it's just building on your control journal. So everything that you come across, anything that you want to add to your routines, anything that you want to like add to your Flylady, your version of the Flylady system, just about adding it into your control journal and just kind of customizing it to make it yours. So thank you very much for watching today. I hope that you have an absolutely amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow for day 23. Bye.